to the Cryptonest, where I talk about all things related to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'd like to thank everyone for being here and wish you all well. I hope that you're all having a good day or night, wherever, whatever time it is, wherever you may be watching. Today is November 14th, 2019, and I'd like to share with you today a few things about, is Bitcoin the answer to Zimbabwe's problems? Some information here about DeFi, and Andreessen Horowitz investing $25 million in compound lending. Some more information about the basic attention token, which we talked about briefly yesterday with the Brave browser, and that Samsung is actually integrating the Tron blockchain into their blockchain key store. This morning I was going over a couple of things, and before I get into all of that, I saw something that my brother actually pointed out. My brother is the co-founder, owner of a restaurant in St Lucia. Beautiful place, from what I understand. I can't wait to get down there to go visit him. But as from what you can see here, Matthew and Marissa are the owners. They've got great seafood, cocktails, wine, comfort at its best. They have live music, resident DJ on Saturday nights, lobster when it's in season, awesome menu, alfresco eating area for those warm Caribbean evenings. If anybody takes a trip down to St. Lucia and is looking for a really awesome experience and wanting some really good food, please take a chance to look up Buzz Restaurant. I think you guys will be really happy with it. I look forward to the day that I can get down there and check it out firsthand myself. If anyone does, please send me a message and let me know, okay? And one of the things that he showed me this morning actually was this article talking about, I'm slowly learning that I don't have to react to everything that bothers me. You know, so many times in my life, I've just reacted so quickly before even thinking about what was going on. Just whatever it was so emotional, or just hurt, or disappointed, or frustrated me in such a way that I just felt like, you know, I had to react and strike out. And after reading through this, it makes a lot of sense. And it's something that I've definitely been working on in the last few years of my life, trying to, you know, kind of calm down a little bit and not always react to things. And it's not an easy task to do. I'll go ahead and I'll leave this link in the description below. But I thought this was a really, really good article here. And it says that I'm slowly learning that I don't have to hurt those who hurt me. I'm slowly learning that maybe the ultimate sign of maturity is walking away instead of getting even. So many times I see, and I personally have just lashed out of anger, out of fear, out of pain. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And, you know, there's really no need for it. I'm slowly learning, as it says here, that the energy it takes to react to every bad thing that happens to you drains you and stops you from seeing the other good things in life. While you're focused on all that crazy stuff that's going on around you, you could be missing out on so many opportunities don't even realize are there, because you're so laser focused on the problem. If you can take a time to just step back a little bit and look at things from a little different perspective, you know, you may find that it's not quite as bad, or even if it is as bad as you think, there's oftentimes a solution if you just come at it from a different direction. And the best way to come at it is from a calm mind. A mind that's running crazy can't think straight. Trying to control our emotions can be a real challenge at times. I do realize this, but it's something I've been trying to really work on. I'm slowly learning that not reacting doesn't mean I'm okay with things. Just because I don't react doesn't mean that I like it. But if I have no control over it, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't need the drama. I'm not going to allow people to affect me and make me feel like I'm not good enough. I mean, I know what I am capable of. I know what I can do. So sometimes not saying anything at all is probably saying everything, you know. When you get upset, I did a thing one time with my kids when they were younger, and we did a class, you know, parents and kids, you know, communication type class. And one of the things that they mentioned, it doesn't matter how old you really are, but when you get angry and start yelling and screaming, your mind reverts back to that of when you were 6. And if anybody's ever argued with a 6-year-old that's yelling and screaming, you'll know that you never win that battle. And rational thinking will never be able to be undone by a temper tantrum. So it doesn't change the facts. You still have to deal with whatever it is that you're having to deal with. And so, I've learned out of this, and this article is really well written. I'm slowly learning that maybe all of these disappointments are just there to teach us how to love ourselves, because that'll be the armor and the shield we need against the people who are trying to bring us down. That'll save us when people try to shake our confidence, or when they try to make us feel like we're worthless. We all have our own worth. Nobody else can take that away from us. It's up to us to remember that and to continue moving forward and not let things get in our way. Today today's a weekday. I have my trucking company. I should be out working right now. Things aren't quite going the way I wanted to with the trucking company. This light on my chin is really weird from the window. Sorry about that, guys. But the truck hasn't really been going the way I wanted it to. So here I sit, and rather than sitting and moping about it or being upset over it, I'm doing something else. I'm sitting here making this video for all of you, first of all. When this is done, I have several other things that I need to work on today, because, well, I got to keep moving. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to move on from this. Like I said, I will go ahead and I will drop the link in the description, so you can all go back and read through this at your own leisure. It really made a lot of sense to me, and I really just felt that it was something that may help some people, or somebody may need to hear. So life is better lived when you don't center on what's happening around you and center what's happening inside of you. Work on yourself and your inner peace, and you'll come to realize that not reacting to every little thing that bothers you is the first ingredient to living a happy and healthy life. And, well, I have to agree with that. So thank you, Matthew, for sharing that this morning. I do appreciate it. I hope someone else here gets the message as well. Please, everybody, anybody, if you do go to St. Lucia and find yourself down there, stop into Buzz Restaurant, go see my brother, go check his place out, and let me know how it is. I can't wait to get down there myself. So let's get back to why the other reason we're here, which is to talk about cryptocurrencies. And talking about problems, is Bitcoin the answer to Zimbabwe's problems? You may know, if any of you follow the news out there, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, several other places are having some real problems with hyperinflation in their currency. In an effort to try and shrink hyperinflation, the nation of Zimbabwe introduced the new generation Zimbabwe dollar. They're coming out with all forms. All these countries are coming up with different ways to try to get away from the previous dollar they had. But currency runs in cycles. I'm learning more and more about this as I'm doing more and more research into Bitcoin and cryptos. But currencies run in cycles, and they only ever last for about 100 years or so before the next form of currency comes in. From doing barter with shells to gold coins to the dollar. Imagine the first time somebody was handed a piece of paper and said, "Hey, here's your money," and the guy turns around and looks at him and says, "This isn't a gold coin. What are you talking about? A piece of paper? That's not money. Get out of here with that." From the gold coins, we went on to dollars. From dollars, checks. Writing out the first check, that must have been interesting. The first time somebody had to accept a check and realize that, okay, so I'm not getting cash. I have this piece of paper that represents cash that I have to give to the bank. A new form of payment method that people weren't familiar with. Some people may remember when credit cards came out, and we went from having checks, cash, checks, to now a piece of plastic, which is essentially digital cash. If you think about it, your money transfers through a network from your bank to whoever it is that you're paying through the use of a debit card or a credit card, and no cash ever transfers hands. It's essentially a similar form of a cryptocurrency in a way. Similar concept of a cryptocurrency anyway. So conditions are just right for the introduction of the most powerful cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin LSM. I'm going to butcher this. Kabwiza. Excuse me, sorry about that, guys. Kabwiza believes that Bitcoin might be his country's savior. In an effort to try and shrink the impact of hyperinflation, the nation of Zimbabwe introduced the next generation Zimbabwe dollars. The country's government is planning to disperse $1 billion Zimbabwean dollars over the next 6 months, and recently released its brand new currency earlier this week on Tuesday. As per CCN, citizens lined up for hours outside banks to receive the new currency notes, only to go home frustrated. According to Reuters, banks prohibited withdrawals of over 300 Zimbabwe dollars, $20 per week in a country where inflation has hit 380%. 300 Zimbabwe dollars is not even enough to buy a bag of fertilizer. We've seen this in a lot of other countries. Venezuela, where you have a wheelbarrow full of money will barely buy a loaf of bread. And countries like this are looking more and more frequently to things like Bitcoin to help them stem these problems of their hyperinflation. Bitcoin is notoriously volatile, but nowhere close to the unpredictable nature of Zimbabwe's current government, perceived or real. Kabwiza continued, the more important thing, however, is the reliance on Bitcoin helps with Zimbabwe's trust problem. This is something that Bitcoin is really big on. It's so much as it is a payment system, it's also a system of trust, honestly, because you're sending money from one place to another without any central entity in between to verify. All the verification, all the trust is done within the network. You're trusting the algorithm, you're trusting the code, the digital code that was written. And it will only do one thing, and that's what it's programmed to do. And if it's programmed to do it right, it will do it right every time. And Bitcoin's been running properly for 10 years now, so that tells you something. A likely scenario that would result is that some people would begin to trust keeping their money in Bitcoin wallets than in bond notes that a government can theoretically print more of. If more people have their money stored in Bitcoin wallets, businesses would see reason to start accepting these Bitcoin as payment, which would increase liquidity. Wow, can't talk this morning. It's going to be real interesting to see how it plays out. I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. I'll put the link in the description down below so you can read this yourself. But it's real interesting that these countries that are running into these hyperinflation problems have been turning more and more towards Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I find that rather interesting. DeFi adoption, DeFi, decentralized finance, talking about decentralized finance here. Andreessen Horowitz invests $25 million in compound lending. Decentralized finance, DeFi, is among the fastest growing trends that are based on blockchain. The well-known venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz has recently invested $25 million in the popular DeFi project Compound, thus continuing its involvement in the field. There's been a big move here lately of decentralized finance where you can receive interest. I've talked about it a few times in my videos already, where you can receive interest on the cryptos that you are putting in your wallet, and at a much higher rate than anything you can receive from a bank. Personally, I think it's the way to go. I'm doing everything I can to move my funds over as much as possible to a crypto-based situation, of course with proper security and so on. But I'm so tired of having to give all of my money to the banks for every little thing, the fee for this, a fee for that, a charge for this, a charge for that. I have to give them money to keep my money in the bank. I mean, what is that? I keep my money in my wallet, my crypto wallet, and compound interest at rates that the bank can't compete with. There it is, guys. That's the whole reason why, they have such a suppression on this. Cryptocurrency is considered a disruptive technology. It's disrupting the banking industry, and the bankers are scared because they're about to lose a whole lot of money if everybody starts banking themselves and doesn't need to go through the bank in order to control their funds. So decentralized finance is growing very, very rapidly. DeFi's idea to recreate traditional financial markets on a decentralized platform has gained serious steam over the last year. With the increasing interest in decentralized finance, more and more projects receive notable financial backing from various institutions. One example of this comes from InstaDApp, a DeFi portal that simplifies the decision-making processes for asset choosing. The project recently closed a round of $2.4 million of DeFi funding. And I mentioned to you in one of my earlier videos the fact that Coinbase was one of the earlier investors in crypto back in 2012, being the first one to open their wallet and their exchange. Well, here it goes on to state that Coinbase, the largest U.S. cryptocurrency exchange, recently announced its plans to get involved in DeFi as well by creating a USDC bootstrap fund. It'll be investing their previously launched stablecoin USDC directly in the protocols, thus supporting developers of DeFi projects. USDC is a stablecoin. It's the US dollar coin. It's printed by Coinbase. It's their particular coin. Several different exchanges have created their own stable coin to use within their environment, their trading environment, and USDC is the one that Coinbase has used for their platform. So it's a good coin. I use it frequently when trading in and out of Bitcoin. I like USDC coin a lot better than Tether. I wouldn't trust Tether. USDT, Tether, I wouldn't trust that. Anyway, we're going to move on. I don't want this to get too long here, but again, the link will be in the description below. Basic Attention Token. I actually misspoke in my video yesterday when I mentioned to you, I said, go get yourself some Brave tokens. Of course, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I was not trying to insinuate that anybody should go out and purchase any Brave tokens. First of all, Brave tokens, well, it should have said BAT tokens, Basic Attention Token, not Brave. I'm sorry, that was my mistake. Brave is the browser that the BAT token is used within, but the Basic Attention Token is actually the token that they use. Now, I showed you where you can earn cryptocurrency by using the Brave browser. I also showed you that when you open up a browser window, that it shows you your ads and trackers that are blocked. And you can see here, if we go back and reference my video from yesterday, I believe there was about 6,099 or so, and now it's up to almost 6,500. So it's blocking ads on a daily basis every time I surf the internet. I've had a couple ads come through. Yesterday this was like $1.09 or something. Now it's $1.18. I've only watched one or two or clicked on one or two advertisements since the video last night, so it hasn't gone up much, but you can see that it has actually gone up a little bit, and that's just from normal browsing. So I earned $1.18 here just from browsing the internet by using the Brave browser and enabling the Brave reward system. Kind of cool. I really like that. So the Basic Attention Token, it actually soared 7% after Brave version 1.0 release. A day after Brave software, the development team behind Brave browser, the client-facing privacy-focused browser, announced the launch of Brave 1.0. The Basic Attention Token has soared to new intraday highs, adding 6.8% in the last day against the greenback. The token is also up against Bitcoin and Ethereum. The Brave browser is a really cool browser. I really do enjoy it. I feel like it's a lot faster. It is privacy driven, as I said. They don't track all of your data. You actually get paid for watching ads as opposed to them stealing your data and then selling it behind your back. I really like it. Brendan Eich, the CEO and co-founder of the open source browser, said this new edition marks the end of surveillance capitalism in an era where privacy by default is no longer a nice to have, but a must have. Surveillance capitalism has plagued the web for far too long, and we've reached a critical inflection point where privacy by default is no longer a nice to have, but a must have. Users, advertisers, and publishers have finally had enough, and Brave is the answer. Brave 1.0 is the browser reimagined, transformed the web to put users first with a private browser-based ads and payment platform. I love it, personally. I'm just going to be honest with you. Brave has not sponsored me in any way. In fact, I have not even at this point, I've not even reached out to anybody for any type of sponsorship. I do have some things coming up in the future. I'm hoping to get some interviews going with some CEOs and founders of some companies. I look forward to being able to get an interview with Robert Beatles, the co-founder of Monarch Wallet. Really nice guy. I met him not too long ago. Hold on one second. Welcome back. Sorry about that, guys. Like I was saying earlier, you know, when you're trying to do something, life always likes to jump up and get in the way. Had a call coming in, and it was important. I had to take it. So I do apologize for that. But as I was saying, back to where I was, a basic attention token, it streamlines the advertising program. It's an Ethereum-based ERC token that's meant to streamline advertising, putting browsers users at the fore, shielding them from exploitation, unlike in traditional setups where the content generator is tracked and data collection auctioned to the advertisers. So I think you get the idea here. By blocking out the ads, they're not able to track the data, see what you, like Facebook, you know, anybody ever mention something and then all of a sudden they start getting ads on Facebook for whatever it was they were talking about or whatever they were texting about. Real interesting. The other day I was just messaging private messenger with my mom about a couple things, and on Facebook I made a couple statements that I was looking for something on my private messenger, and lo and behold, 5 minutes later in my news feed up comes 6 different advertisements for what I just sent her a private message about. Never even spoke about it on the phone or anything else. Now you talk, and there was recently an article published where Zuckerberg and Facebook have actually admitted that they do scan your private messages. So there's proof in itself right there. Basic attention token, or the Brave browser, excuse me, that uses the basic attention token does not do any of that. You have the choice of choosing what advertisements you want to see, what advertisements you don't want to see. If it pops up and you don't want to look at it, you just close it. You just hit the little X button on the bottom and the box goes away and you don't see it again. They send you a couple messages or a couple different advertisements every hour. You can set how many that you see. I mean, it's a very good user experience as opposed to being forced into having to watch things. You can also withdraw your BAT tokens by the use of the Uphold wallet here. You can use your tokens or withdraw your tokens and actually send them to your bank account or send them to other users. If you like my channel, I am actually a verified content creator. You can always tip me if you like the content of the video. You can always send a tip through the Brave browser using basic attention tokens. And you know, that's another way of being able to provide rewards for the people that are providing content for you that you enjoy, that you are interested in, and not having to see the ads and things that you're not interested in. So you get rewarded for the things that you do want to do and the things that you do like to do, and you can ignore the things that you don't want to do, and they don't have to get in your way anymore. I really like that. That's my personal opinion. Once again, none of this is sponsored, but that is my personal opinion. And I use Brave browser on all of my computers and my phone. And you know, you're not going to get rich, but you can make a few dollars off it. It makes it well worthwhile. Just my personal opinion. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Samsung came out with the S10. They had a wallet on the S10 that had a blockchain key store built into it. It was interesting. When it came out, it would only allow you to store Ethereum, which is a second generation cryptocurrency after Bitcoin. Also, the second most popular coin by market cap, is listed on most of the market cap websites. Usually when you see them listed, you'll see number 1 is Bitcoin, number 2 is Ethereum, and number 3 XRP, usually Ripple XRP. So Samsung is now going to feature Tron in their blockchain key store, which I find really interesting. I happen to own, in all full disclosure, I happen to own some Tron, not a lot. I have just a little bit. Again, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling anybody to go out and buy any or get any. This is just an article that I came across here, and I found it interesting because I do personally own a little bit. Not quite sure what to think about it. Justin Sun, the CEO of Tron, is kind of a character. He likes to make announcements of announcements. So on this day, we're going to announce that we have an announcement coming up on this day. And for some reason, every time he does that, Tron jumps up in value. He's a very popular figure in the crypto world. They've been able to make waves. The Tron Foundation was able to make waves with several unique partnerships. Hopefully going to increase the usability of the Tron token and make it more available to the bigger market. They revealed a pretty detailed solution system at the end of October, which is set to help developers construct more compatible decentralized applications with Samsung. A new solution system, Samsung Blockchain Platform SDK, will be able to allow developers to create dApps, decentralized applications, with ease, and will also enable legacy apps to integrate blockchain features to put them at the forefront of innovation. So in regards to Tron, Samsung announced that the firm would be featured in the blockchain key store. That basically means that it's very possible going forward in the future that you will most likely, you have Samsung Pay. If any of you have a Samsung phone, you have Samsung Pay. This opens up the possibility that maybe one day you will be able to use something like Samsung Pay and pay with your Tron, to pay with your crypto. Don't know, just speculating, just guessing, but if they're putting it into the blockchain key store for Samsung, and Samsung has the Samsung Pay application, you know, you can kind of see where I'm going with that. We'll have to see where it goes. TRX, or Tron, is the native currency embedded within Samsung's phones after the S10 and S11. That's why I believe it's very significant, considering Samsung's large user base, in which billions of people around the globe use their products every day. This gives individuals the opportunity to store TRX as well as TRC10 and TRC20 tokens in their wallets. One can also use these currencies easily to interact with all dApps built on the Tron and Samsung platforms. TRC10 and TRC20s are different forms of tokens that are used within the Tron platform. I'll get into that in greater detail later on in the future. This is getting a little long today. I want to go ahead and cut this off because I know everybody has things to do. But it's going to be real interesting to see how this plays out with Tron and Samsung, considering I do actually own a Samsung S10, which I bought for the express purpose of owning a phone with a blockchain key store built into it. So although I have to say I wasn't very impressed with it from the very get-go, that doesn't mean that, you know, that it's not getting better over time. Anyway, having said all of that, I hope everybody has a great day, a wonderful evening, wherever you are, whatever time it may be. Thank you so much for coming to spend this time with me today. I hope you've gotten something out of it. Thanks, and have a great day. Bye now. Catch you next time.